The conflict between Hamas and Israel involves a prolonged and intricate conflict wherein each party fights for what they steadfastly believe to be just. For those who might not be informed, Hamas, a Palestinian organization, initiated an assault on Israeli soil, killing hundreds and taking an even larger number hostage. This conflict has simmered for a long time, with both sides resolutely endeavoring to claim territory for their respective populations. Palestinians are in a struggle for the establishment and acknowledgement of a Palestinian state, while Israelis are working to maintain its borders. In this episode, we will engage in a critical examination of the complexities entangling the Israeli and Palestinians, analyzing the land at the heart of the dispute and navigating through the history that guided us to the current state of conflict. But before we take a closer look, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel, and if you enjoy our content, click the notification bell for updates on all our future videos. The history of Palestine and Israel is a complex, deeply rooted, and multi-layered one which spans over thousands of years. Historically, the land has been inhabited by various peoples, establishing a rich mosaic of cultures, religions, and dynastic changes. Ancient Israelites established kingdoms in the region, which over centuries faced conquests and exiles by various empires, such as the Babylonian, Persian, and Roman. Consequently, after the Romans expelled the Jews in the 2nd century AD, the area was ruled by successive foreign powers, but Jewish communities continued to exist in certain areas. In the 7th century, the Islamic Caliphate established control, and the area became a significant part of Islamic civilization, albeit under various caliphates and empires. The late 19th and early 20th century saw the rise of Zionism, a movement advocating for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Concurrently, Arab nationalism also emerged among the Arab-majority population resisting foreign control and Zionist immigration. After World War I and the fall of the Ottoman Empire, the British took control of Palestine under a League of Nations mandate, which lasted until 1948. During this time, tensions and conflict between Jewish and Arab communities escalated, particularly concerning Jewish migration and land ownership. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. The Jewish leadership accepted the UN plan, but the Arab leadership did not. In 1948, the State of Israel was proclaimed, sparking regional conflict known as the Arab-Israeli War or the War of Independence. The war concluded with armistice agreements in 1949, establishing the borders of the new state and initiating a prolonged and complex conflict with the surrounding Arab states and the Palestinian Arab population. Subsequent decades witnessed several wars, uprisings, peace processes such as the Oslo Accords, and ongoing disputes over territory, refugees, and the status of Jerusalem. The historical and socio-political context of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict has developed amidst deeply entrenched narratives and traumas where issues of national identity, self-determination, security, and justice are paramount. Today, the situation involves a complex interplay of geopolitical, religious, and ethnic dynamics, and a resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains elusive despite numerous attempts at mediation and negotiation at various levels of international diplomacy. Regardless of one's alignment with Israeli or Palestinian perspectives, the ongoing conflict is claiming lives and necessitates an urgent resolution. Israel and the Palestinians have encountered several pivotal issues where consensus remains elusive. These encompass the unresolved matter of Palestinian refugees, the debate over the persistence or removal of Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank, the contentious sharing of Jerusalem, and the especially intricate issue of the potential creation of a Palestinian state adjacent to Israel. Although Israel-Palestinian peace dialogues have intermittently taken place since the 1990s, the talks reached a standstill in 2014, reflecting the severity of the challenges embedded in these discussions. The conflict between Hamas and Israel is a significant aspect of the larger Israeli-Palestinian conflict, involving particular geopolitical, ideological, and military dimensions. Formed in 1987, Hamas, or the Islamic Resistance Movement, is a Palestinian political and militant group that emerged during the first Palestinian uprising against Israeli rule in the occupied territories. The unexpected attack by Hamas on Saturday, escalating the combat with Israel, represents the newest chapter in over 70 years of warfare and conflict between Israelis and Palestinians, a struggle that has not only involved external powers, but also unsettled the broader Middle East. A sudden and concerted attack on Israel by the Palestinian militant organization Hamas, marking one of the most lethal and audacious attacks in recent years, has once again spotlighted the enduring and historic challenge, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has perplexed the Middle East for generations. Israeli authorities report that Hamas militants have killed at least 1,200 people since Saturday, October 7th. Meanwhile, Palestinian authorities have stated that Israeli strikes have resulted in at least 1,100 fatalities. It is believed that over 100 Israelis are being held captive in the Gaza Strip, with President Biden indicating that Americans are among the hostages. On October 8th, following a surprise attack by Hamas militants a day after the 50th anniversary of the onset of the 1973 Yom Kippur War, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu officially announces a declaration of war on Hamas. Following what Israeli military leaders describe as an infiltration of Israeli territory from the Gaza Strip by Hamas militants, including via paraglider and sea routes, Israel's Air Force initiates strikes against Hamas targets in Gaza. Israel reports that surprise attacks, which involved gunmen targeting Israeli citizens and civilians in their homes near border regions, have resulted in at least 1,200 Israeli deaths. In a substantial retaliatory action, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have resulted in over 1,000 Palestinian fatalities. 3 days into the hostilities, Israeli commanders assert that they have secured the border surrounding the Gaza Strip and are organizing a significant military operation to alter the reality on ground. The United States expressed comprehensive support for the imminent Israeli offensive. The situation continues to unfold, with both parties ensuing threats of retaliation and potential execution of hostages. Presently, the United States is extending support to its ally, Israel, while indications suggest that China is backing Hamas and its Palestinian objectives. Grasping the evolving dynamics of conflicts between populations is crucial, particularly when they stem from profound historical, ethnic, and religious foundations. But what are your thoughts on this matter? Do you perceive the attack by Hamas as being based on a legitimate purpose and thus justified? Alternatively, do you see Israel's claim to territory and the defense of lands they've occupied for decades as valid? Either way, let us know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Critically Speaking. We'll catch you in the next one. That's it for today's episode of Critically Speaking. Thanks for joining us as we explore the latest movies, games, and hot topics. Stay up to date with our latest content by hitting that notification bell. And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And as always, stay critical.